Well, this is the vlog for January 5th, 2019, and it is 12th night, the last day of Christmas, 12 Lords Leaping. It is also my brother-in-law's birthday. I sent him a text today to wish him a happy birthday, and the weather, although it had been forecast to rain all day, turned nice in the middle of the day, so I went out for a walk. But I am not feeling my oats, as they say in some rural regions. I think I may be coming down with a cold. I might sound stuffed up right now. I am not actually congested just yet. I just had some ice cream, which dairy products have a sort of natural congestive effect on many people, including myself. But I can feel a little sort of tingle in my sinuses as if the tissue is getting inflamed, which is usually a pretty good indicator that I'm going to get sick. I had a big glass of water after dinner just to be safe, which is probably going to be more effective than anything else. Thankfully, it was a salad for dinner, so that's good. It's much better for me. Chicken salad is really good for this kind of thing. 12th night. A night for merriment. My merriment is going to come in the form of the Venom film, which came out back in October, that I didn't see. All my friends who saw it really enjoyed it. I think everybody agrees Spider-Verse is a better Spider film, but Venom is very fun, is what I heard, and I could definitely use some fun tonight. I've been playing Time Spinners, which was a game I picked up before 2019, but didn't start playing until a couple days ago. And it is remarkable because it's a story, at its core, it's kind of a revenge story. As much as it's a Metroidvania game of exploration, getting power-ups that allow you to access new areas, finding new weapons and increasing your level and your stats, it is story-driven. It's story-driven in a way that really suits it. So you can find NPCs in random areas throughout the game. Most of them who are friendly. You fight the ones that aren't friendly. The ones that are friendly end up back at a sort of home base, a camp that you have. And they can talk to you, they'll give you quests. And the story sort of revolves around them. There's the sort of limited scope story about the very specific characters. I have these feelings about this conflict. I have this kind of personality, but it's very minor stuff. But you also find writing of a few different sorts. You find memories of your character's mother that sort of explain the perspective of the story from a very nurturing standpoint. You find writings, actual on paper writings, that explain the story of 1,000 years ago, and you find computer downloads for the modern setting. And Time Spinners, as you might have guessed from the name, does involve time travel, and it does so in a way that's sort of simplistic, but also again works in its favor. It works in a way that enhances the story, and as I said, it's a very story-driven game. Revenge stories are very interesting to me because there are some revenge stories that are told straight, where someone was wronged and they want to set things right. John Wick, I haven't actually seen John Wick, but I've heard it's a very by-the-numbers revenge story. Payback with Mel Gibson seems a lot more... That one was a very straightforward. And Django Unchained is about as pure a revenge story as you can come up with, as a man held against his will his whole life rises up, breaks his chains, and delivers vicious judgment on those who would turn a man to property. It's an awesome movie. I really enjoyed myself. The soundtrack probably had a lot to do with that, but it was just, you could tell those guys were having fun with that movie. It was nice. This is a revenge story of a more complicated nature. The main character has every reason to want her vengeance, and the story is set up in a way that you're sort of with her. But one other game that I've played where I sort of really liked the initial revenge vibe because it flew in the face of so many other games of that ilk is the character wants revenge, but they want a more primal sort of revenge. They're not just looking for justice. They want to punish the people that have wronged them. And in Xenoblade, Shulk declares that he really wants vengeance and he wants to absolutely destroy the enemies that caused his personal loss. And you've been introduced to Shulk over the course of probably an half an hour to an hour of gameplay by the time he makes this declaration. And he's a good guy. He's thoughtful. He's not the best fighter, but he's a very intelligent person, and he looks at things from different angles. And he's exactly the kind of main character that you sort of would expect to be promoted as such. So when he swears bloody vengeance on these enemies and says that he hates them and he just wants to kill them all, it makes you wonder, has he been traumatized? What's going on? Where is this rage coming from? Is it just this one event, or is there something more? And in fact, it plays very heavily into the story as it progresses. And I'm hoping, I haven't finished Time Spinners yet, but I'm hoping that the same sort of thing happens here, where the main character's anger is more than just a way to get the player to try and kill as many enemies as possible, where the answer to, wrestling with the pain this character is feeling is just, it's not going to be easy. And I at first thought that maybe it was just happenstance and that the characters were just speaking in a way that sort of, oh, maybe there's, but because I've encountered that before where I expected something deep and meaningful and got nothing. But I think here there's definitely more going on. The mere fact that you're finding all of these writings, all this information, that you, in like a Metroid game, you'd be scanning the environment to learn these things. I think that is indicative of a sort of more cerebral experience, and I couldn't be more pleased. That's my ideal kind of storytelling in an action game. Let me, read this information and collect it at my own pace. Axiom Verge did the same thing, although Axiom Verge had a lot of places where the game stopped and characters had conversations, which is not what I normally enjoy. But at least the conversations tend to be short and meaningful in that game, so that's good. Anyway, I'm going to get back to Venom and maybe Time Spinners. I don't know how late I'm going to stay up, but I do need to get some sleep tonight. And we'll see how I feel tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll be fresh and chipper, and maybe I'll be... We'll see. I'm Eric Spornitz, and tomorrow will be better.